Good evening, good people, and welcome to another match in the Speed Gaming Live online tournament. Today we have Pickles and Beer versus Duskplume, which I believe is in round 3 of the online tournament winners bracket. So, if you're not familiar with these flags yet, we have Forced Black Belt slot 1, Forced Not a Black Belt Melee in slot 2, a forced none in slot 3, and a forced mage of some sort in slot 4. So that's why we have our parties here that look the way they do. But we do get recruitable wizards along the way. There's no tail. We are going to be focusing on that black belt and whatever strategies we feel like getting to the end game. We have alternate fiends, an alt final boss, and a heck of a lot of fun in store for us. Pickles and Beer and Duskplume showing off some great runs in their first rounds, as they have defeated one opponent each at this point. And we're going to be seeing them get out the gate in just a couple minutes. So, hi everybody. It's good to see you. I might be doing another one of these later on tonight. We'll see. To just give a little bit of a bracket overview of where they will be heading. We're currently waiting on the results of Fryteeth versus Jesus the Frog in the upper bracket. The winner of that match will be going up against Odron, and the winner of that match will then go up against the winner of this match. The loser of this match will be dropping into the losers round 3 bracket, and we do not have anybody filtered in there just yet. So we're still working through our round 2 winners bracket. We'll know a little bit more in just a few days, I'm sure. So we're getting through several matches even tonight. We're at about 9.5 minutes on their 10-minute delay, so, probably about 30 seconds, 40 seconds for the action to start here. I'm expecting some pretty interesting fights along the way. Do want to shout out as we're getting started here, Dark Moon on the restream and Danny on tracking today, making this early match happen, and we're off. See almost identical steps for both of these runners. That was a red wizard locked fade, which is very sad. That's fast and quake at level 1, both very useful. It's unfortunate though. Heal 3 also very good. Life 2 is going to be white wizard and white mage locked, but that just means white wizard in the course of this game. And indeed, that is some loaded magic. That was an iron chest plate +2 for 99 gold. That actually is super good. No save items in the Canaria item shop, nor any purchasable incentive items. Phoenix asking, who rolled the seed? It was me. I did it. Damage poison imps. GG, right there. Duskplume forgot to save. Ooh. We have bad times sometimes. So having to reform the party, as that does not save unless you actually stop in an inn or use a tent. Pickles and Beer, meanwhile, looting out the left chests in Toph. Flame armor. Well, that makes that iron +2 pretty worthless. Duskplume starting the run, remembers to save. Meanwhile, Pickles and Beer on Garland. Banesword comes out, terminates via some gas. So gassy. Duskplume not going to bother with the save here. We have a red wizard recruitable as we get the bottle, and I missed what the king gave, but it wasn't immediately useful. Alright. Pickles and Beer has replaced the red mage with the red wizard, giving access to that fade, which is a huge pickup. Duskplume making the same move. Very understandable. That was the crown from the king. That's what I was missing. I wasn't looking very close, but giving up your own crown to the people who save your daughter, I guess, is very reasonable in some fantasy settings. The long walk to Provoca, very uneventful for Pickles and Beer. And there is a white wizard, which I would strongly consider for the extra fade caster. We'll have to see how that plays out. It looked like Cure 3, and I didn't see any other notable magics in the white magic there. A lot of garbage in the black level 2. Nothing compared to that fade. Cure 2, Fog 2, whatever. Alright, well, we now have all of our visible items. We have a canal from Vicky, which will be useful in a little bit, as we're going to have to go on a little bit of a hike down to visit Astos and visit Marsh Cave. So Pickles and Beer opting not to take the White Wizard at all. Duskplume opting to replace the fighter with it. Both very reasonable choices. We'll shout out the very, very reasonably priced houses in here. That's like a early 70s housing market right there. Get in before the inflation hits and the real estate bubble is up to capacity. Astos has the crystal, which means that Astos has a dilemma for us. So Pickles opting to head in the direction of that crystal, while Duskplume is picking up Fade and Heal 3 and Life 2 on that White Wizard. We'll see how she opts to take this from here. Hey look, Pickles learned about the imps. A little bit of spending cash out of the dwarf first 2 chests, very handy. We're always looking for a bit of money as we head into Elfland. And now that we're here, what does Matoya have for us? Some more spending money. We just stole her life savings. And a canoe, opening up Ice Cave and Crescent Lake. And Pickle's opting to head in that direction right away. That's it's a bold play. Our overworld encounter rate, I believe, is 0.4. So that's 4 encounters per 256 steps. Our dungeon encounter rate is 0.6, which is 5 encounters per 256 steps. Can mess with you a little bit if you've tried to base all of your knowledge uh, on the overworld encounter table, and then suddenly there's an extra encounter where you weren't expecting it in your dungeon encounters. Duskplume also opting to go for that canoe and rob the piggy bank as well. No shop items so far. Duskplume making the same play, heading over into the river systems. One thing that's going to be interesting to see from here is how the river systems play out for our runners in the end, because you think about going to ice and all of the pain and suffering that that entails, having two fade casters versus having somebody in front with the flame armor turned on, that's a big difference. So we'll have to see who gets treated better by the play in that direction. Duskplume doing a bit of shopping here, looking at some bracelets. Pickles and Beer heading towards Elfland right away. Gonna skip out on ice for now. Let us see what the magic shops have for us today. Ice 3, good spell. Probably my least favorite of the elemental sweepers, which I know puts me in a strange category. Invis 2 is white mage locked. Cure 4, also white mage locked. But there is Temper and Quadex. Temper, I think, is very valuable in this flag set, so nice to have the red mage to handle that. We have our rod for sale, and an affordable 8,600 gold. So while that is not immediately useful, it is one of our contingency go mode items. We shall see as Duskplume is pulling in to Ice Cave whether ice or marsh is the play that pays. And I really like this play generally, as having the fade casters for this makes it relatively safe. Marsh can be a bit faster and a bit safer just because it's lower levels, but it also has a lot of encounter diversity that can be dangerous. Looks like Duskplume checking for encounters to maybe get a couple levels, house up afterwards. Solid safety play. Make sure you have enough charges of Fade to do things that matter. And meanwhile, Pickles and Beer in the attic of Marsh. I'm with you, Len the Cat. The Marsh play is dangerous because of the encounter diversity, and I mean, just within any individual pack, you can have up to, I believe, 4 different monsters, which is a wee bit rough. Scorpion's coming in with Sleep Touch. That's annoying, but thankfully the fighter able to tank those hits with the flame armor. Duskplume has taken some encounters and is now ready to go on down. I am checking on the audio there. Okay, glad to hear that things are improving. Alright, Pickles on the bottom floor, ready to pull open some chests. Duskplume working her way down. The other thing that's nice about the ice play early is if you can get the grind off here, that's fantastic. There's 5 spike tiles to work with. Uh, there's several of them that are after you've had the opportunity to use the ice to damage your party down. Um, if you find a good tile, particularly one of the 3 on the bottom floor, that can be very nice. And there's the TNT right out of the incentive box. We have a random incentive in Marsh, but it decided to random itself right to the normal place. We got Frosties on the first tile, which can be good, but, you know, it's not really our ideal place. Easy to slip on a banana peel. Giant and iguana, not so hot. Wizards, even worse. Notable that was the only pure pot that Duskplume had. Pickles and Beer now out of Marsh, saving and gonna head up and turn in that TNT. Gerpede doing Gerpede things. I believe that was the White Wizard that went down. Quick safety heals before this last spike tile. That is not a pack that I want to see here. And it has Sleep Touch. No! Our TNT turns into the adamant for our lazy dwarves. You have that on your bingo card. Congratulations. Duskplume takes out the undead pack and gets the ship, whereas Pickles and Beer gets the ruby, which has been replaced with iced tea today. Oh, jeez, I'm a robot and ogre here too. I'm gonna have to blame either Discord or our good friend Dark Moon. Sometimes the internet not so great. Okay. Duskplume taking just a couple extra checks on the way out. Oh, that 7 wizard pack is not fun. But the fade comes out. Pickles and Beer with the key in hand is going to check our Toflock tile and finds Whizmummy Mummy, which these are very thin, and that is a lot of experience that just came in for Pickles, but I don't think I want to take that with the party as we have it here. Maybe just run through the fade charges, get out. Alright, Duskplume is out of ice, on the way to collect her ship, with an unfortunately face-planted black belt. Actually laying on her back with the sprites here, but you know what I mean. So we're gonna go to the party member store, pick them back up, figure this all out. Alright, Pickles feels satisfied with the levels gained. has the key in hand and has not yet checked that in the castle, I believe. Yeah, the Provoca randomized shop doors. Playing tricks all over the place. They are sometimes a little confusing. There are just so many places for those doors to go. And there is the floater coming out of the key. Turns out that ice dive not actually needed. And we'll see how long it takes for Duskplume to make the play over to Crescent Lake, get that key, and move on with her life. But that could be tricky, as we now have a situation where Duskplume has both the ship and the canal. And, yeah. Could be an interesting time. Pickles working the way around. Duskplume finally getting level 3 and 4 magic. Had not actually made it over to Elfland prior, so working through everything. We'll get that rod. And gears up the mages a little bit. Those silver bracelets will be helpful going into some dungeons in the future, but at the same time not super important at the moment. Alright, there is the floater a-floatin'. And we're gonna see a Sarda check here, followed shortly by a Titan's trope, I would imagine. There is our loot. It's a little ditty tonight. So the puzzle pieces are all coming together right now for Pickles and Beer. Duskplume now going to get that key from Crescent Lake. There is the herb, which is not the worst turn-in location here. You know, it's not that far. What we were kind of hoping for, I think, was to get a slab so we could translate and just double up on those incentive locations right away. But we're going to take a quick pit stop, see what's in the Northwest Castle closet. Duskplume getting her key, that much closer to a floater. It's a mud goal. That's not a very good grind, but it does have Brack, which actually could be super useful. And Blue D, it could be a grind. So far, it's about 200 hit points deep. But it is quad-Xable after that, so, you know, maybe? Pickles gonna choose to try it out. We are moving the red mage up. Try to make sure that we're not getting hits onto the black belt as we get things pulled together here. And that black belt is starting to actually hit, so that's good. Duskplume buying the level 5 magic. There is life, which is red mage and red wizard learnable. Alright, down goes the fighter. Down goes the dragon. We got a red mage with 90 hit points and a level 18 black belt, which is a little spicy for this. Pickle's gonna quick step out, take a save with a tent, and go do other things for the moment. Okay, maybe just get that fighter down. We're gonna get our incentive item to get the extra experience. Duskplume now having a floater. Our prince gives us the cube, which is 50% useful. Alright, Pickle's just going to continue on here. So we're going to get a Cardia check, most likely. Yep. Cardia, one of our more free incentive items, and will tell us a little bit about where we're going today. Potentially, we're just going to do Sea, Earth, and Volcano, as we only need 3 orbs of our choice to complete the seed. That is our 3rd dungeon access. So at this point, Pickles really just needs to get levels and get going. So here we are back at Northwest Castle to do exactly those things. So yes, this is go mode for Pickles and Beer. That bottle turning into a saber gauntlet. Somewhat useful. Down goes Red Wizard. This is where the grind gets sketchy for Pickles and Beer, as this is, yeah. It's not quite ready. We really need to be over 21 to get that 6th hit and the additional damage per punch so that we have the throughput. Turns out this dragon also has hands. Alright, there is go mode for Duskplume as well. So we're in a position where we're just trying to find what is our best grind life. And this is going to be a Hall of Giants check from Duskplume. Earth, not so great. We don't really like Earths. Meanwhile, Black Belt on Pickles and Beer side starting to hit a little bit, but the evasiveness of these blue Ds is substantial. Meanwhile, Duskplume finding out that that Hall of Giants not so hot. Nightmares also not the grind we want. So now we're going to trace each other's steps, find out the news that we dislike. Yes, wizards, my arch enemy. So Pickles now has a conundrum. The walk was not super bad, but kind of long for the overworld grind. So unless we find a T-Rex, I'm not buying it. Just an uncomfortable number of steps to start out. Steak and Wings is not going to be enough of a payout. So Stalker asking why Pickles isn't reviving the party. The main reason is that we want to funnel as much experience to that black belt as possible so that we can power up the punch cannon. The way that the black belt functions is that its level determines its damage per punch and its number of punches, so it ramps exponentially. That is a T-bone in the bottom right of Desert. That is going to be our grind. Oh, and it went down in 2 rounds. It's going to be very fast for Pickles once he gets this moving. So by having all the party members down, except for the black belt gets all of the experience per encounter instead of dividing it among the standing. So with this fight giving 19k per fight, this is going to be an extremely fast grind for the black belt, and we should probably see Pickles hit 42 within the next 3 to 5 minutes. Duskplume, gonna check the volcano spike tiles, which is another very respectable play. This is another easy way to get through killing off the party. If there's a good tile here, this is not a good tile, then, you know, very reasonable thing to have here. Meanwhile, Pickles and Beer already up to 30 on that black belt. So what I'm concerned about now, in the conservative playstyle that I run, is what does our alt final boss look like today? So Pickles is going to be running through 3 dungeons in the not too distant future to get the orbs lit. We are 32 already on this black belt, so it's moving fast. But once we get through those 3 fiend dungeons, we find out who our alt fiends will be for the earth, water, and fire orbs. We will be finding out who our alt final boss is. And there are certain varieties that are not great. Shannigan calling for Warmech and friends. Also, we could be worried about the Fun Dead pack. Another very dangerous encounter, but we could get something a little bit more friendly like Whack-A-Garland, where we have 8 garlands and 1 chaos. The possibilities are finite but numerous, and we shall see what comes out of it. Duskplume takes the seafood party platter that one time and is out of here. That might have just been to try to take down the party. And we are seeing the start of a desert grind search right now. Duskplume finds the T-bone as well, and I can't imagine that she will be doing much of anything else with this grind option. That was Squint! Huh. So, you know, the mages got the experience this time around. We're just gonna, you know, life to that black belt back up and try this again. Pickles and Beer done with his grind, heading to the party member store, scrape those 2 back up off the floor. Duskplume, meanwhile, yet another squint, I believe, onto the black belt, or it was a crit. One of the 2, but it's dead. That's all that really matters. So we're gonna try this again. But Duskplume has a couple levels under her belt. We'll be able to push this black belt to level up not that far off, so it's not super bad. We just need to see those mages go down right quick for this to be competitive still. This Pickles and Beer is just putting on the gas. There's a big difference between a grind that's done and a grind that's starting in this flag set. Pickles and Beer already most of the way down. Here we are on Carrie's former floor. We'll see who's taking her place today. That's Rubicante, who survives the punch. which tells me that maybe Pickles and Beer stopped a little bit before 42. That looked like 8 hits and not 10. But that is one fiend down. And it is time for the Earth Cave. Duskplume, meanwhile, has got the grind off the ground. Both mages on the floor. That is level 24. We're seeing Speedy McBlackbelt just tear through this Earth Cave all alone. We don't need no friends. We got Paunch. Duskplume up to 27. Gonna need to move that black belt out of slot 1 in the right near future because that T-Rex will start running away soon. They have remarkably low morale. But Duskplume also not getting quite as much experience due to the number of incentive items that Pickles and Beer has over her. There's a 10% scaling bonus, so I guess that'd be 2 items, roughly, that from the grind, maybe 3. So, that's a big difference as well. We're looking at 3,000 less experience per fight. That's a significantly slower grind for Duskplume. That's pretty much all on the back of that earlier floater and having the Ruby to double tap Sarda and Titan and follow that chain. We have Behemoth in place of Lich today. Behemoth is down. Hooray. 1,800 damage. Gotta love it. It is time to go to the Sea Shrine. No matter what level you are on that black belt, the Sea Shrine's still a dangerous place. Very pinchy lobsters. Some hard-hitting ghosts. We don't like it there. Pickle's getting bullied by an Ocho. Len's saying what I'm thinking is pick up the party o'clock. Better to have the additional hit point targets, better to have the additional runners, and hope for the best. The grind continues for Duskplume up to 38. We are just about fully online on Duskplume's side, and we will be seeing the exact same path for the rest of this seed from Duskplume. Just 2 dungeons behind at this point, which is pretty significant if our Chaos replacement does not put some adversity in front of Pickles and Beer. Alright, Duskplume has finished her grind, and it's time to move, and we're heading straight over to Onrak. Very respectable decision here. You kind of route the dungeons in whatever order you feel comfortable with. Onrak, kind of a terrible place. So the fact that we're relatively close with the grind in desert makes sense. And we see dueling sea shrines here. Duskplume opting not to raise the rest of the party. That could be a bit of a challenge, but I understand the play. Big Guy Gershark, hard to want to leave, but if we're done with our grind already, we have very little reason to stay here. And what is our water fiend today? Cognazo. Alright. 12 hits, 23 something. That's gross. Pickles and Beer now officially ready to go to Topher. I'm just gonna make a quick stop at the inn by the looks of it. Maybe we're out of save items? But we're done now. We're out of here. Duskplume approaching Cognazo on the right floor. Alright, let's see how this short Topher is for our Pickles and Beer. We get Behemoth right out the gate, so our Lich 2 replacement, starting out with an Inferno, putting out pretty decent damage, but 1584 damage from the Black Belt will take down a Behemoth. We're going to see some Cure 3s come out real quick. And a Heal 3 for good measure. And Astaroth, who is our Tiamat 2 replacement, now coming out. 942 on the first. 4 hits, 379 back to the Black Belt. That's pretty decent damage, but there was a crit in there. 17 hits, 1446. Down goes Astaroth, so we are now up to 43 on that Black Belt, ready to go into our final boss. We're going to see a little bit of curing up because, yeah, this gets scary. Alright, put the fighter up front. It's just there to be meat. And we get double dragons, which is probably one of the most favorable encounters to the party that Pickles and Beer has here. Duskplume heading into Earth, but Pickles and Beer likely going to be able to take out this encounter pretty quick, because we see a Quad X take out our first fiend. Down goes the fighter. Black Belt smashes our Tiamat 2 replacement, and we have GG's Pickles and Beer finishing with an official racetime.gg time of 40 minutes and 2 seconds. Get your GGs in chat. Seeing if Pickles wants to come in for an interview. So I know there's a bit of a chat going on in the race room. Alright, Duskplume fighting a vampire. Hey, look, it's a dead vampire. And I have yoinked Pickles and Beer into the booth. GG's. I may have preemptively yoinked Pickles and Beer into the booth. We'll see. Are you there, good sir? Pickles, if you can hear me, I can't hear you, sir.
There it is. It finally connected.
Hooray! Well, GG. That was a clinic right there. Just about sub 40.
After the Marsh fiasco. And the attempt at the Blue D grind, which just, yeah.
Yeah, the evasiveness of those Blue Ds is just a little bit much.
Yeah, it usually is. But, you know, when I was still had the rest of the party up, he was getting, you know, a couple hits for 200 plus, and I knew it had just barely over 300, and then after the party went down, he just wouldn't hit anymore.
The RNG giveth and the RNG taketh away, and it mostly deals in hope.
Right.
So, with your party composition heading into Topher, how did you feel when you saw the double dragons come up?
No. To quote a member of my Fall League team, easy game.
Yeah, it was one of the more favorable, in my opinion, for what you had.
Oh yeah.
Duskplume having swapped out the fighter to have the white wizard, so there's 2 Fadecasters on her side. Kind of in that position where, better off against the bigger pack versions of the alt final boss.
It is. I'm typically, if I have one caster with Fade or Nuke, I'm typically fine with that.
Yeah, so Duskplume just finished lighting her last orb on stream and is probably going to go res up a party to take on that short Topher. So, was there any thought about replacing the fighter, or was it just going to be there for the meat shield aspect of the flame armor?
Fighter would have been replaced potentially had I not had Fast and Fade and Gear 3, so I was like, yeah, it's good enough.
Gotcha.
Or had I seen like a white locked exit in 1 through 4, maybe.
Makes sense to me. And then finding that T-Rex pretty much highlighted the seed right there.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, I was starting to get a little. I felt behind already doing Marsh before turning that key in, and then with the blue D grind not turning out, I was like, oh man, I felt behind. Like the time was still pretty low. I was like, this could still be right around 40, but yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of luck out in that regard because while you were doing Marsh, Duskplume was doing Ice.
Yeah, that's
And
what I saw in the room. It's like, so we both made a poor choice.
well, and that led to the ship. Like, Ice was the ship, and so with Ship and Canal, Duskplume routed outside to get to Crescent Lake, and it's that much further at that point.
Oh, so Dusk went to Ice before even...
Yep.
Okay.
So, it was, I think you both had very reasonable plays, very justifiable plays, and the seed just wanted to taunt you both.
Yeah, it does that.
Meanwhile, there is Duskplume finishing. Official time 45:35. Pull her into the room as well. GG Duskplume.
GG.
So
Yeah, GG.
So Pickles took Marsh and you took Ice, and let's talk about how you feel about that.
Well, apparently both were terrible decisions.
Sure were. I know that there was a lot of cross work as you both were searching for the grind until you both landed on the T-Rex. How did you feel finding that T-Rex, and how did you feel like looking through the various other tiles that you had looked at?
The more that I checked tiles, the more I was telling myself, why don't you just go check the desert first? And then when I go check the desert and see the T-Rex there, it just enhances that point all the more. You're like, you're in the overworld. Go check the desert first. It's right there. Go check the desert. And I didn't. And that cost me.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same.
So Duskbloom, you had swapped the fighter for the White Wizard, presumably for the extra Fade caster, as you hadn't seen 3 and 4 at that point. Uh, Thought process behind that swap?
Also for Life 2, because Life 2 was level 1.
True.
So just seeing what the beginning of the seed held, lovely imps, lovely wolves, lovely everything on the overworld before you got transportation. I was like, you know what? I think I need something that's going to keep me alive if I'm able to get out of battles because, hey, no thief either.
Yeah, those stupid imps.
Oh my god. It's going to teach me always save before leaving. No, it's fine. Just walk up to Temple of Fiends. You can save there. What could possibly happen?
Yeah, that was an unfortunate time loss at the very start, having to reform the party. That was some rude imps.
Yeah. Been a while since I've seen imps have anything, let alone damage poison.
Yeah,
All
they
right.
got me a couple times, set me back. Like, I think I was just about to pop a tent to check the Toph spike tile, and I had last saved at Dwarf and sent me
Ugh.
right back.
Yeah, the walking was not kind to either of you this seed. So,
No.
looking at our brackets here, Duskplume, we're going to be a while before we find out who your next opponent is. Um, Similar, Pickles and Beer, like we're a little bit closer on your side. So, Pickles, you're going to be round 4 of the upper bracket, taking on the winner of the winner of. So we have Fry Teeth versus Jesus the Frog, followed by the winner of that versus Odron, and the winner of that will be your opponent for round 4.
Oh, so
Duskplume,
time to practice Fall League flags.
right? And Duskplume, you have the winner of Phoenix versus Min, followed by the winner of that versus the loser of Budgemano versus Not Young Me. So I guess we'll start with you, Pickles and Beer. Any predictions, any thoughts, any call outs?
Nah.
Dust
No,
Plume,
they're all tough.
true story. Dust Plume, any on your side?
Yeah, I'm calling out whoever my next opponent is out of the 71 people you said that it could be. You're going down in 7 weeks.
All right. Well, that's all I've got for y'all. So I think we can head on over to our final thoughts. We'll start with you, Pickles and Beer, as our winner today. What you got for us?
It's GG again, Duskplume, and thanks Saracen and Danny, wherever the
Dark Moon.
and Dark Moon. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, thanks for putting it on, and yep, that's about it.
All right, Dust Plume, final thoughts.
As always, appreciate the crew for putting this on, giving everybody a fun little race to watch on a Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday evening, depending on where you are. Looking forward to the next match. These are fun flags. I feel like I'm really getting into the best that I can do now, so I'm looking forward to whoever's up for me next.
Fantastic. Well, with that, I want to thank everybody for coming out, watching these two racers put on a show for you. If you haven't followed them already, please do so. I want to also thank Danny and Dark Moon for putting on the show in the background with Dark Moon restreaming. Danny doing the tracking. We got to keep everybody honest here, especially me, and they're the ones doing that hard work. Also want to shout out Speed Gaming putting on this tournament, which, there's a cash prize attached to this. Super nice. If you like what you saw and you're not part of our community yet, head on over to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. You can join the Discord with the link on the page, as well as take a look at all of the options that the randomizer has for you today. If you want to learn the randomizer, the community is the best way to join up and check that out, as well as our wiki, which includes our full Duckling Bootcamp curriculum. And with that, thank you again for coming out. Been lovely. Chat, you're cute. Hope you have a wonderful evening, and I will see you all later.
Well, did you tell people about what's coming up later today?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh
shoot.
Oh, come on.
I'm bad at this sometimes. Jeez. Just try to sign out. What do we got coming up after this? We got.
Oh, you go ahead.
All right. We have at 9 p.m. Eastern, Chanigan versus Herbie B, and that's going to be right here on FFR. We also have Budgemano versus Not Young Me, same time on SG3. And we have a couple of Final Fantasy Mystic Quest randomizer runs that we have been working on crew for potentially. Those are going to be on FFR 2 and 3, 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. Central Time. So 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm, wrong time zone for everybody else. So we got a ton of action tonight. So stick around, check out all of our different affiliate channels, as well as SG3 at 9 p.m.
If you haven't followed FFR 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8, we have links available. It's just Final Fantasy Randomizer and then the number behind it. Of course, Final Fantasy Randomizer 1 is Final Fantasy Randomizer. But right here on Twitch, follow all the channels, get all the action. Okay, I'm done now. You go ahead.
All right, bye.